Well, thanks for being here. Today is October the 18th. It's our time for the Friday webinar where we cover things that have happened in the industry, new opportunities for you. And today I've got three key things I think will definitely help your business and what seniors are asking about. First, I want to get into the changes and the updates from what's new. We do have a couple of new opportunities to speak about. I've been speaking for a few weeks about the changes with rate increases with Mutual of Omaha. And Mutual of Omaha has, and somebody asked me this just this week, in their local area where they market in their backyard, they said that Omaha Insurance Company, one of their latest renditions of Mutual, seems to be an attractive option. And I just want to put this out there. This is my personal opinion. This is not the opinion of my corporation or the agency or even of the training site per se. This is just my personal opinion of Chris Westfall. I'm just going to share with you that my opinion is I have slowed down greatly to the point of not writing any more business with Mutual of Omaha for the sheer fact that I've seen them over and over again continue to raise the rates with double-digit rate increases on their existing clients while then reinventing themselves as a new corporation where only those people who are informed and those people who are in perfect health can take advantage of those new rates with their newest company. And the rewarding of loyalty is completely gone with Mutual of Omaha. So if you had somebody with Old Mutual or United of Omaha, as you can see reflected in these things here, they're getting slammed with double-digit rate increases yet again. And so I just want to put that out there. My personal feeling is I won't continue to put people with Mutual of Omaha just because of the way they're treating my existing clients, many of whom cannot move because of health conditions, and they're being slammed right now because Mutual has moved on past them to reinvent themselves again with a new carrier name. And in doing so, they've left all the loyal people behind to a great extent. We're talking tens of thousands of seniors. So just for that reason alone, I won't put more business with them. They do have an electronic application. It works very well. People recognize the name, and if they've not yet been burned by one of these rate increases and being ditched in the old company, they may want to go with it just because of name recognition. But I'll steer them away and just educate them a little bit because of these rate increases. But this just came out affecting, Vermont and Arizona, another example of double-digit and then some rate increases, which I think are reprehensible. Just my opinion. This week, Oxford Life announced new states. These 4 new states are going to be wonderful because, as I've mentioned before, Oxford now is the only company left in the marketplace that pays full commission on guaranteed issue situations. And again, I'm not talking about people turning 65 in their initial enrollment period or people starting Part B of Medicare for the first time, same thing. I'm talking about those guaranteed issue situations that we're seeing a lot right now because of Obamacare. We're seeing small businesses and large businesses kicking off their employees off of their group plan that they've had before, and they've got this little letter saying that you've got creditable coverage from the old employer plan and moving into the private Medicare market. So now they've got to go get their own Medicare plan. Well, if you write those people with most companies out there, they're going to pay you a $25 one-time commission, and that's not even worth the liability for writing them up. It's really not. So look for companies that are going to maybe reduce the commission by half, like Aetna does, or Mutual of Omaha in certain states. But more importantly, if you can find a competitive rate for these folks, competitive premium, which you can with Oxford, and a super easy, very nicely done electronic application, which you can see in previous webinars. Just do a search for Oxford on the site, and you'll see that Oxford is a great alternative, takes great care of the people and the agents. They've got wonderful marketing materials, but now we've got 4 new states, and you may be asking, well, where is Oxford available right now? And you can see in all the colors except gray, Oxford is now available. So if you're currently marketing in these states, make note of the fact that they only focus on Plan F, so Plan G is not really an option. They do say that in coming years that will be an option, but if someone is having guaranteed issue, that's the only one they can do anyway, really, is Plan F. So these are guaranteed issue plans available for those people that are going through a special election period, such as leaving an employer plan for the first time, being kicked out into the market, or losing their Medicare Advantage plan. Got an email this morning from someone in Florida who said they were with AARP United Healthcare and they have pulled out of their county. So they need a whole plan themselves, and that's happening across the country. So if these people are losing their Medicare Advantage plan, that too gives them a special election period that they can move into a Medicare supplement, guaranteed issue. I just happen to think it's worth being compensated for writing that plan, writing that business, and you will be compensated fully if you're writing Oxford. And again, their e-app is very, very easy. If you need contracting for Oxford, it's electronic, it's automatic. You can get it at sellmedicarebyphone.com. It's sellmedicarebyphone.com. But again, these are the new states, and none of those are showing. So let me go back and show you again. I had the screen pause there. Sorry, my bad. Here are the double-digit rate increases for Mutual of Omaha. I was just talking about Vermont, Arizona, and Vermont for Plan F, it's 14%. Wonderful, huh? And Arizona, it's 16%. And they're not even discriminating anymore between Plan F and G, which is just ridiculous. So, again, Oxford Life, here's the rollout of the new states. They include Idaho, Illinois, North Dakota, and Nevada. And those 4 states, we've got new rates, and they're available now at oxfordlife.com. The contracting, again, is at sellmedicarebyphone.com. And here's that snapshot I talked about of the entire country where they're available. And we did a cost comparison and analysis on the webinar where we covered Oxford Life in great detail as to where their electronic application makes sense based on the rates. I will tell you that Pennsylvania is kind of goofy in that they don't offer Plan F there yet. They do offer Plan C, and Pennsylvania is one of those Medicare overcharge measure states, which simply means that in Pennsylvania and 7 other states, I believe, they cannot charge more than the doctor would, or more than Medicare would allow for that doctor. So the doctor can't charge excess charges anyway. And if you look at the outlines of coverage, you'll notice the only difference between Plan C and Plan F is Plan F pays for those excess charges if they were to be charged. Well, as you can see here in Ohio and Pennsylvania, they don't offer Plan F because there's no reason to have it really, because they can't charge the excess charges anyway. So you'll have a lot of people with other companies that will have Plan F, and you can simply explain that they can save 1 or 2% right there simply by going to Plan C instead of F. They don't need it in those particular states. But most agents are lazy and they'll sell Plan F anyway. I want to talk about a tool that you can use, and I'm going to get to the Part D of Medicare program real quick, and I know it's a boring site, but I'm going to run through it just so you know how to look up the drugs and find the best drug plans. You can either recommend them or write them, your choice, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. Then we'll talk about the quick and the dead and how you can be the quick and not the dead in your business. But first I want to share with you this tool that I've started using in the last month or two. It's made a big difference on my business, and some time ago, probably 2 to 3 years ago, I found the value of using video in my marketing to seniors and really bringing down that wall of distrust that most seniors have, and rightfully so, in purchasing anything over the internet or over the phone. So if you're talking to a senior and you've got that skepticism, you can hear it, it's tangible. I mean, you can really just feel it in the conversation. They don't want to do business with someone over the phone. It's nothing personal against you. It's just that they don't know who you are, and they've always been told from commercial after commercial out there, don't give out your private information over the phone. I'm McGruff the crime dog. I mean, they don't want to give out their personal information until they know they can trust you. Well, one way to get them to know, like, and trust you, as we've gone over before, is to use the video in a live presentation to them. But let's say you can't get to the live presentation because they've not even given you the time of day to do that. Well, if you ask them, do you have email? Let me just send you over some information. That's the biggest blow-off they were holding back to fire at you anyway. Just send me some information, and that's what they want you to go away with. And you'll go, okay, I'll send you some information. Well, now you can use that to your advantage. Simply ask them what their email address is, repeat it back to them, and verify that they've got the right email address, and say, will you be there just for a second? Let me send this over to you, and I want to confirm that you got my email. I'm going to send you that information. And then you can go away and create a video email for them that's very powerful. Now, those agents that have known me for all 5 years that I've been marketing with other agents know I used to use a service called TalkFusion. TalkFusion.com came out with video email about 5 years ago, and I was with them and really liked their service, and I even used their webinar service for some time, about a year, until it was clear that the webinar service could not live up to the functionality of everybody else on the marketplace. Well, I asked them a few times when they're coming out with their new webinar service. I'll give you the short version of this. And they told me, be patient, we're coming out with a new webinar system. They told me that now for 3 years or 2.5 years. and they still have not come out with their new webinar system, and I'm still paying for their entire service every month. Well, last month, well, actually 2 months ago, I was told that they put it out at a meeting in Hawaii that their webinar service was coming out within 30 days. So after that 30 days had expired, I wrote to support again and said, when are you coming out with your webinar thing? The president of the company, Bob Reyna, wrote me an email and said, stop whining. It'll be out when it's out. And it's, what did he say? It's something like it's disrespectful to keep bugging me or something like that. So I took to the airwaves and made a YouTube video, which now has over 10,000 hits on it, talking about my experience with Bob Reyna and TalkFusion, and promptly terminated my service with TalkFusion because the guy's a jerk. That's my personal opinion. Again. So anyway, I don't use TalkFusion anymore, and I don't pay, what was it, $30 a month for that service. So I found something that works almost just as good, and it's free, and I want to demonstrate that to you now. This is a service that any of you can use. It doesn't cost you a dime. Of course, they have upgrade options available, and when you use those upgrade options, you can do things like track when somebody opened your email and have a real pretty template that you can display for folks, but that's not all necessary. This is a service that's free, and it's called iJot. It works just like this. The person will get a video email from you, and you can sit there and talk to them, and if you use a program like the Logitech camera that I really suggest you get, and if you're not familiar with which camera I'm talking about, you can go to the Tools You Need section, Tools You Can Use section of this website, and it has a review, and it has the lowest price, and it has the place where you can order it online for that Logitech camera. But this is a service that you can use, and you can simply explain to them what plan is best and who you are. You can hold up the Medicare and You guidebook and show them. It works really, really well, and it will lower that stress between you and them because they don't know who you are. And you can use this service to demonstrate who you are, show them the Medicare and You guidebook. You can pull the book right up to the camera like you would do in a live presentation, show them that everything's exactly the same. Now, look, this does not look real fancy, and I'll give you that. It doesn't have a big template for who your company is and branding for you and all that. You can certainly get that in the paid version, but it's not necessary. You can simply, these are some funny things that the Logitech camera lets you use. You can talk as all these different faces and everything. It's kind of funny. But you don't need to do anything other than just deliver the content. And by delivering the content, I'm just talking about building that credibility that's a sequential process between the first conversation, how they got a hold of you from whatever lead generation, asking them what their issues are, asking them where the heck their old agent has been, telling them that you're independent, you shop the entire market for them, and you really have no stake in which company they go with. Hey, if they want to pay more, you'll make more. That's fine with you too, but you want to be honest, unlike the other agents who have to drive out to their house and put gas in their car and go through Burger King's drive-thru all to get there to their house and then tell them, well, you might want to go with this company. Well, we don't have those kind of costs, and this is what I tell them, and I'll tell them this in the video also. Services like this, the video connection with them and the phone call are free, and by doing that, you can get them on a live presentation where you can show them the quote engine that we have access to and show them the lowest possible rate in the market. And then, like I said, show them the Medicare and You guidebook where it says on page 98 this year that all the plans are exactly the same, and there's no reason to pay any more for that. So this tool right now has increased our closing ratio when we've got somebody on the phone who says, yes, I've got email, send me some information over before I can go online with you, before I decide to make an application happen with you. And just send them a real quick video email. It is so easy to use. Let's see if I can show that to you again. All you do when you're going to go send somebody an email is you go to ijot.com, and it's real simple. You go to compose a new message like this. Hey, there I am. There's the preview window. You know what it's going to look like. You hit record, and you record a little message. You type in the subject. You type in their email address, and you hit add. So I can send one to my Gmail address. And there, you can send it to a whole bunch of people at once. Then under the notes, you can put in here, please call us at your phone number. And you can put attachments on there, but I never do. Record it, put a subject on there, and hit send iJot. That's all you have to do. It works really, really well. And let me show you that demonstration. When they get it on their end again, it looks like this. It comes up as a video template, starts playing right away. And what you could do is you could copy this long thing right here. That's the URL that goes specific to your video. You can copy this, and you can paste that in anything else that you've got. You can paste it in a forum message. You can paste it in a support ticket, like I've been doing, responding to support tickets many times with a detailed explanation, which I can do by video very simply. Explain a long concept by video rather than typing it all out. And all you have to do is send yourself a video email and then take the link that was generated and paste that into a forum, or paste that into a question, or paste that onto some other website. That works really well too. But if you want to get iJot, I made it, the sign up link goes right here. If you go to medicareagenttraining.com/go/iJot, that'll take you right to the sign up page. It's free. You know, they've got some other fancy features which are nice, but you can use video email now for free and not have to pay $20 or $30 or $40 a month for the service. And again, you can do the upgrades later if you want to make it a pretty template that they're seeing, but it's not necessary. This is very, very effective. So write that down. I'll be coming back to it later and show you. But medicareagenttraining.com/go/iJot with a J-O-T. So I think that tool will definitely help you in your business. And just be personal with the people. Don't be stuffy. They want to know who you are. If you tell a joke, that's even better. Let them see your personality just like they would if you were coming into their house. That's what people want to know is who is this person? Can I trust this person? And you don't have to be fancy here. Just show them that you're real. That's what people want to hear. You can use whatever microphone you want to when you're sending it. Just send yourself a test message first. And you can even use the goofy tools of the Logitech webcam controller software that comes with the camera if you want, with these goofy little antics that come with it. It's kind of fun for family and friends too, kind of like Skype, but you can do it as a message in an email. Oh, here's one other thing. When you're sending the email through iJot, if your email typically gets blocked from people because it's like reported as spam once or twice and your email is just not getting through, then you can use iJot to send your video email, and it's been whitelisted with the services out there. What I mean by whitelisted is your email through iJot will get through, even though your email from yourself will not get through, because iJot, the service, has been whitelisted. So it's like if you've been banned for having a spammy email, that doesn't matter when you're using this service because it will get through. And it's not real high resolution video. You can make it, maximize it, and you'll see that it's got some pixels in there. It's not meant to be high definition video. But as long as you're playing it in the screen like this, it works very well. And there's some fun things you can do with your family using iJot. But it's free. I encourage you to use it strongly. There's the link for it. Moving right along. Medicare.gov is a huge resource. I really encourage you to spend some downtime, not selling time, but some downtime with Medicare.gov and find out what's available. Find out what the ratings are for the companies. And a lot of these companies' ratings have not been updated because the government was shut down. And one of the things that resulted was the star ratings were not loaded at all, but they're starting to get loaded right now. And I want to share with you the Medicare.gov website and how you can utilize this either with a screen share or without. Now, we've got a person that's coming in part-time this year handling just the Part D lookups for our clients. 99% of those we're not going to write business on because it's too much of a pain in the rear to get certified, contracted, and appointed in every state that we do business in. But we want to give that information as a service. I spoke with my friend Dave McClune in Kansas City, and he does this and hires people to do this full-time for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients all during this AEP period. And whether he writes it all or doesn't, he wants to provide the service because they expect it. They want to come to you, and you want them coming to you for this type of answer. If they're going to a local agent or someone else to get this answer, guess what that agent's going to do? Going to take your business away, because if they're going to provide this level of service, then obviously they're going to want their other business, and they're going to let them know that. So let me take you to the live side of this. Just go to Medicare.gov. Find health and drug plans. That's easy, right? So Let me get this off. Do you have that drug sheet that was on the printer? Was there one on here? Oh, it was supposedly printed earlier. One of my clients sent me a list of their drugs by email earlier, but it's not here, so I'll just make up some. So let's pick a zip code randomly. This is Northwest Arkansas. If you put in a zip code that's got multiple counties, you'll have to pick the county, and that's specific to the reimbursements for that county, so that will be important. So here's what I always check. How do you get your Medicare coverage? Original Medicare, so I click that. And then you could put on here you have a Medigap policy, but it's going to want to add in the premiums and all this kind of junk. Just leave it original Medicare. It's a lot easier. And then I always click I don't get extra help. Everybody we deal with has the income that they're affording a Medicare supplement policy, and they're not extra help kind of folks. They're not the low income getting that Social Security extra help. So then it comes up with the drugs. And then here's how you find the drugs. You just start typing in the first name of the drug. Here's one. You just start typing the first few letters, and then it'll find it for you. Click on that. Once you do, it'll ask, what's the dosage? So you need to find out from them what is the exact strength of the drug that you're taking. So in this case, it's going to be 25 milligrams. And how many a month do you take? Obviously, if they're taking 1 pill per day, it's 30 pills per month. If they're taking 2 pills a day, it's 60 pills a month. And if they're taking 3 pills a day, it's 90 pills a month. Now you want to find out, are they okay with getting this through mail order or retail pharmacy? And it's about half and half. I'm finding that some people, they're okay with that. Other people want to get it through mail order because they're okay and they can look long term and save money. But the retail pharmacy is the way we're going to go here. They want to go to their local CVS pharmacy or whatever. Okay, I submitted that. Now in the list of drugs, you see that that's already listed. We're good to go. Next drug, I'll do finasteride. It was on one of my lists yesterday. When I click on that, there's only one dosage here, 1 pill a month. Add it. We'll look at one more. Let's pick benazepril hydrochlorothiazide right there. What's the dose? 20 milligrams, 1 pill a day. Yep, add that. Okay, let's just suppose this is the list of all their drugs. One thing you might want to make a note of if you're going to come back to this, or if you've got someone in your office doing this for you, zoom in so you can see a little bit better. See this drug list ID over here? This drug list ID? You'll want to make a note of that in the client file if you're going to come back to this later, or if you want to keep this in your contact management system. You can write down this drug list ID. You'll need 3 things. You'll need the drug list ID, the password date or the date that this was created, and the zip code. Any of these things wrong and it won't find this again. But using this, you can come back again and pull up this same list if you want to in the future. So if you're having this conversation with them again to find out what the results were, you can always come back if you write down those 3 things before you proceed. Okay, so we're going back to the drug list is complete. This will show you their closest pharmacies, and maybe they're using one of these pharmacies. That's great. If not, if they're telling you, no, I use a CVS pharmacy and it's not in that list, you can expand the pharmacy range from their house or their zip code by pulling down the number of miles from their house up here. So now we're showing a whole bunch more pharmacies. Still not showing their favorite pharmacy. Go out the extended period here. I went to page 5, Fayetteville. That's pretty far from Benton County. So we've got all the pharmacies there. I'm going to go back and limit it to what's closest to their home, maybe. Let's say they go to the Walmart pharmacy. By the way, this store right here, this is interesting. This was the very first location of the very first Walmart store in the United States of America. It was on 2110 West Walnut, Rogers, Arkansas, right down the street from Bentonville where they started the whole thing. Rick, can you sign that for me? Sorry, our lunch is here. Okay, so we've selected the Walmart store. This is their favorite pharmacy that they want to go to, and that will dictate the prices. So we're going to go continue to the plan results. Now the default here, it should be loading. Okay, government computer system. We can show either the Medicare Advantage plans or prescription drug plans by itself. I always, of course, just show the prescription plans by itself. If I wanted to look at the Medicare Advantage plans, I can, but I like to look at those on Ritter to get the summary of benefits that way, just to look at the plans. But okay, now we're at the prescription plans. Now this is showing them on current Medicare, what Medicare costs them in that area. Here's where the prescription drug plans come in. As I expected, the Walmart Humana plan is coming up as number 1. This premium last year was, what was it, $15, $14, $13, something like, or $18.50 I think it was. Now it's gone down on the Walmart plan. This is the only one I'm writing this year, by the way, just for what it matters. This is now down to $12.60. Now the rumor in the marketplace is if you sold the Humana Walmart plan last year, this is a different code number, and the plan that you had last year is going to go up in price, and you won't be compensated on it. So you will need to rewrite those people you wrote last year if you wrote the Humana Walmart plan, if you want to get compensated on it. But why wouldn't you? Because you don't want their premium to go up. You want their premium to go down, and it will go down to $12.60 if they get on this new plan. Now, one thing that's new on this new plan is Tier 1 and 2 drugs are going to be either free or like $2. That's their generics and easy-to-get drugs. So yes, this particular plan has a deductible on it, and this plan down here does not have a deductible on it, but it's listed as a second plan. Why is that? What I want to draw your attention to, and if you're doing a screen share with your clients, what you need to focus on is right here on the left-hand side. What is the total annual out-of-pocket cost for this plan? That's the only thing that matters. If you click on the little help thing here, it'll remind you of that. What the help thing says is, this is an estimate of the amount that you'll expect to pay. This estimate includes the premiums, the deductibles, the co-payments for all the drugs that they're currently taking. So this thing right here, this annual cost, is the only thing that really matters. The monthly premium really doesn't matter, and the annual deductible part does not matter, because all of those and the co-payments for the drugs you listed, all of those are taken into account. The bottom line is, what is this going to cost me out of pocket? So as I zoom back out here, you can see that the WellCare plan is very similar in premium, and it has no deductible. Sounds attractive, right? It's not, because it costs actually more. You see what I'm saying? I hope you do. And also you can compare the plan rating. The Walmart Humana plan is rated higher than the WellCare plan, and it's about the same as the AARP plan, Saver Plus, but the cost on that, look at that big difference there. It's like $200 difference between the AARP plan and the WellCare plan. And here's the higher Humana plan. The ones last year, I believe, are going to. This is the one from last year. It's going up to this. Their cost would be higher. Don't do it. Cigna Health Spring, that's great. This First Health Value Plan, by the way, was one of the most competitive plans last year, and this Value Plus plan is no longer paying an agent commission. So if you wrote these people on this plan last year and you just let them stay there, you're not going to get paid on it anymore, and this premium's about double what it was last year. No longer a good plan either, even certify with, in my humble opinion. So you can see the other plans, and they go up and they go up and they go up. But automatically, this is going to sort for you the best plan first. And to get more information on this plan, don't do the enrollment thing over here. I mean, you can let them do it if they want to. They can literally enroll right on the screen. It's very, very simple if they take it right out of their Social Security check, which they can do. Someone just asked, has anyone had experience with WellCare? Yes, and reading agent feedback, I'm finding that agents are really frustrated with the long and arduous task of the scope of appointment form, which WellCare is requiring even on a phone sale, and it's not required for phone sales to do a scope. Scope of appointment form has to do only with Medicare Advantage and Part D drug plans when meeting them in person. The law says if you're meeting them not in person through the mail or phone, you don't need a scope of appointment form because you're not sitting down to make a sale. However, WellCare requires that scope, and it's a telephone scope, a three-way call, very cumbersome and a real big pain. So, and they're rated lower than the average out there, and that has to do with client satisfaction. But let's say that you came on this case here, and you can click on the name of the plan, which will bring up more contact information for them. It's kind of slow. This shows how to contact the plan. shows more about the premium and so forth. And if they decided to go through mail order, what the cost would be, so you may encourage them to do that to save some. And it gives some specifics about what each drug that they told you about is going to cost. It's kind of a nice here. It shows where they are in the tiers. So these drugs would be just about free or a couple of dollars with this Walmart plan, and that's why it came out as number one. Now let's say that they want to proceed and they want to do an actual application with them. Look at the star ratings compared to everybody else you can. They should call this number if they want to sign up directly, or if you're already licensed with Humana and you want to do that, that's fine. If you're not yet licensed with Humana and you wanted to do this season, it's just about too late because you have to get contracted, wait for that, do an online certification, which takes about 2 or 3 hours. Then you have to attend a mandatory face-to-face training, which those are pretty much exhausted. But I'm doing these plans for people this year. This number is the number they can call. Again, it's very quick. You can see the information that's required to enroll is pretty much covered on this main screen, which you'll see is just name, address, and your Medicare information. Then they're going to want to know, are they in a special election period? They're not. They don't need to be because this is the time to do it this year. Then they can click on the box that they want it deducted out of their Social Security check, and they're done. That's what most everyone does. So if you want to go off to the Humana website from here, you can. Don't really encourage them to do that because they may get lost. And you can do this very same thing with all the Medicare Advantage plans too, if you really wanted to. So that's how you can go back, and let's just say that I wanted to come back to this drug plan lookup later without having to type all this information in. And if you went to the page that gave you that lookup number, you can do that. I'm going backwards and backwards. Here's my drug list ID again that I want to save in my contact manager for this person. You also need the date that you entered it in because that date locks in with this. And you'll need the zip code. You need those 3 pieces of information to pull that back up. And the way that works is if you go back to Medicare.gov, you're going to start this whole thing again. You start from Find Health and Drug Plans. You put in their zip code again. You still can't look it up until you go back into that area, that zip code. Pick the county again. And now you can enter in finding where that was, almost. Here, drug list ID. You'll need that long number, and you'll need the date that you first looked it up. Then all this will populate again, and you can see that. Tim says, what if a client had a Part D plan for their first 5 years of being on Medicare? When will the penalty be taken out? The penalty that Tim's referring to is on Medicare, if they did not have a drug plan, let's say they never got a drug plan, Medicare is going to penalize them for the rest of their life. It's crazy. It's 1% per month of what the average premium is for the nation. And every year they come up with this figure what the average premium is. So it's like $20 or $30 is the average premium. 1% of that charged per month to them just as a fee to Medicare. So let's just say that the person has been going for 5 years without a health plan. That's a 60%, 1% per month, 60% penalty, 60% of the average premium added to what they're going to get every year. And that is horrible. So you need to encourage these people to get on what I call a placeholder plan. If nothing else, get on the cheapest plan in the market, which this year, this is why we did so many of them last year. This year, the cheapest plan on the market is the Walmart Humana Partnership Plan. Now, they could go right down to their Walmart store and sign up too. Again, I don't want another agent talking to my client, but they could go down there and sign up and just get the brochure and call the number and sign up for the Walmart Humana plan, the cheapest one in the market. And then again this year, Tier 1 and 2 drugs, which are preferred and non-preferred generic drugs, are either going to be free or $2. And you can't beat that, not even touching the deductible. So it's a pretty good plan. But again, if they've skirted the system this long, they said, no, I don't want to sign up for that plan. I will tell you a little secret that a local manager for the Humana office in Altamont Springs, Florida, told me last year. And he said that if they call Medicare and they convince them that they've never known that they needed a drug plan, They were never told they needed a drug plan. They never knew this is a special situation. There's a special election period code that they can put on the application that supposedly, he says, will skirt the penalty and can allow them to sign up anytime during the year just for a Part D drug plan. So they can work that out with Medicare, but just saying that they say that that's available. For drugs that are not covered by Part D, are any of those RX discount cards good? Yes, we use them a lot. As a matter of fact, I've got a box of them over here, if you're seeing the video working. And I signed up through the RX Cut program. Not sure if you can see my thing there or not. But at seniorsavingsnetwork.org, they can sign up for one of these little discount cards. Now, speaking of discount cards, I had a client call me the other day, just mad and furious as he could be, because he went to the pharmacy. He signed up with me in May or June. He was leaving an employer plan. I told him to go sign up for Coventry's First Health because according to the system that showed it's best for him. I told him go contact them directly or call Medicare.gov and let them do that drug plan for you. That's the best bet for you. Well, he did that. However, he did not use the card that came from Coventry. No, instead he wanted to use this discount card that he got from New Era. New Era decided to send out this discount card to people because they make a small commission on it like everyone does when they utilize this card. Kind of confusing for the seniors and probably shouldn't be doing that for these folks who are now confused because this guy didn't understand his Part D benefits that he signed up for with Coventry. He went to the pharmacy with this discount card and said, that's going to cost me $600 a month. And I said, why are you using a discount card when you signed up with Coventry? Oh, so we went to Coventry, got the card out, went to the pharmacy, and everything's fine. So it can cause confusion if you're just relying on this discount card. I don't recommend it. I think there may be some liability exposure there if you're relying on this as a licensed agent. Certainly if you're certified with CMS and you're going and telling people it's okay, don't get a Part D drug plan, use this discount card so I can make 60 cents or $1 or whatever it is on each prescription filled. Don't do that, especially if you're certified through CMS. It can come back to haunt you. And I would never encourage someone to tell a senior, don't get a Part D drug plan, you don't need it. The penalty that they have to pay could be considered a loss that they could attribute to you for giving them bad financial advice. They need to have a placeholder plan. They need to just say that they've got a plan. And again, the best plan this year, like it was last year, is the Walmart Humana plan. One other question was on here, actually on a question from Chris D said, the Part D drug plan is the most important insurance they have. The drugs keep them alive and paying the other premiums I need to keep money in my pocket. That's true. And we could see on this list here, and sometimes you'll see some dramatic differences between the first plan that's recommended, which is the total out-of-pocket cost, versus the very next plan. Sometimes it can be double. One time I saw one where it was $400 a month if they took the Humana Walmart plan and $1,200 a month if they took the AARP plan. And yet people will say, well, you know, I had AARP for years. That's the best plan because it's AARP, it's a group plan, whatever. Really? Let's just take a look over here. Now look, I just saved you $800 for giving you advice that's available for everyone, yet most seniors don't know how to navigate Medicare.gov to find that information. That's pretty critical if you're saving someone, which is our job, as much money as possible. Now all this said, the most you can make on selling one of these plans is like $38 a month. I'm sorry, not a month. One time to sign them up, and a lot of these companies will split that over the entire year, especially if you go through AmeriLife. They're notorious for doing that. They're afraid of chargebacks and all that. It's not really worth going out and spending the time to hunt down Part D business. And remember, with Part D drug plans, all the rules for Medicare Advantage apply. You've got to have the AHIP certification, which is a minimum of 4 hours, which costs $150 to get. Then you've got to certify with each and every company that you wish to represent and contract with them for an appointment in all the states that you want to do it in. And a lot of these companies are very adverse to doing phone sales with their Part D or their Medicare Advantage plan. Depends on which company. But Joe says, if I decide not to sell Part D drug plans, but I do the search for MedSup for my MedSup client, what do you think having them call the non-member phone number for the best PDP. Would you be concerned about that? No, that's what they should do. You can look at publicly available information for them, even as an unlicensed agent. You don't have to be certified. You don't even have to be licensed to go to the public website of Medicare.gov and hear their information and manually type it in for them. It's not like a tax preparation service where you have to be licensed by the IRS or something to do that. This is publicly available information, and if you want to, send them an iJot and say, look, go to Medicare.gov, go on the top left-hand side. It's going to be an orange button that says Find Health and Drug Plans. You can do that. Just turn them loose on this site. What they're going to do, though, is either get lost or confused. And let me show you where somebody can get lost and confused. Let's say they just did what you just told them to do. Put that same zip code in. One of the things I don't want my clients to do is to come on this site, and I've said this for years, I don't want them to go on and do their own technology searches for themselves either. Am I concerned about liability from giving them publicly available information? No, not at all. They're still free to choose anything they want. If they like the sound and the name of AARP, hey, go give them your business. That's great. None of my business. Call them direct. I'm just giving them information, giving them options, and I'm not part of the transaction. I'm not financially compensated for making that recommendation or showing them what's on the site. I'm giving them a toll-free number that I found on the Medicare site and giving them some advice. Hey, go do what you want to do. You can call them directly. They can call Medicare.gov for all I care. Here's my concern. If I go on this plan, let's say I put in that drug again. I find the drug for them, added whatever. Now I go to look at the plans because I'm satisfied with the list. I wonder if they're using the same computer for this as they are Obamacare, which is kind of messed up. See how it's locked up? Here we go. And that didn't work at all because it's still sitting there thinking about it. Let's just say I don't take any drugs. The next step after they put in their drugs on their own, and it's kind of difficult sometimes for them to pick which plan or which drug even in that plan and then find their pharmacy and click all that correctly. If they see, oh, Medicare health plan with drug coverage, that's what I want, let me click there. And I'm just going to look here as an uninformed senior, and I'm looking at Medicare health plans with drug plans. Look at that, Advantra Total Care, monthly premium 0. Wow, look at that. Annual cost 0? Oh, that's wonderful. You know, and this will show based on their drugs probably 200 or 300 whatever. But this is a total HMO Medicare Advantage plan. And if they go over here and they start enrollment procedures on their own, or they call the company and say, I want to enroll in your zero cost plan, they're gone. Their Medicare supplement plan will be worthless to them because they're getting onto a Medicare Advantage plan. They have to go to those doctors. They have to pay that maximum out of pocket, in this case $2,900, which is very unusual. They'll have that MOOP that they have to consider. I just don't recommend turning them loose on this site. You certainly can, or you can have them call Medicare and say, I just want a drug plan. Help me find the best drug plan. I've got my Medicare supplement. That would work, assuming that the government official can get them onto the right plan and all that. So if you just want to abdicate that responsibility to the government, go for it. I don't personally see any liability concerns with, especially if you're going through a screen share with them, you've typed in their drugs just as they gave it to you, and you land on these recommendations here and you say, look, just like we did on the Medicare supplements, I don't recommend spending any more money out of your pocket than you have to. And here we're looking at a cost, and this is with no drugs at all in this lookup. Why pay, $20 a year more when this plan is better as far as cost goes, has a higher star rating, and uses Walmart, which you already told me, is their favorite place to go. So that's what my answer is for that one. Hang on one second. So anyway, hopefully that has answered those questions. If you have any other questions, put them in the bottom there, and I'll go through them as we're going. And we go back to where we were. So one thing I want to bring up to you that I heard this week that really made a lot of sense and I really liked a lot is it's been said, and there's movies made about this, made on a book of the same title. There's two types of soldiers on the battlefield. There are the quick and there are the dead. And there's so many agents that I know of personally, and this probably doesn't apply to you, so don't be offended. But the quick agents are those that cram as much action as they can into the smallest amount of space. And everybody wonders, wow, how did they get all that stuff done? That's amazing. Well, there are other people who, for whatever reason, and I think personally it's a lack of self-improvement that they've filled into their head, they want to study, they want to learn, they want to perfect their understanding of everything before they take the first piece of action at all, do anything. I just want to encourage you to run hard, learn, absorb, but then you've got to implement. If you learn all this stuff and yet you never take one step forward to create the momentum. I mean, if you think of an airplane screeching down the runway, a jet is going faster and faster and faster. If it never lifts off, never implements, what good is it? It's not going to get anything done. But when you start that forward momentum, you move that wheel chock out of the way and it starts moving forward, the ultimate conclusion is not just to stay on the runway, not to become an expert in Medicare, not to become an expert on applications or marketing strategies or finding a lead company, but actually implementing, get off the ground and fail forward. If you're going to fail, just fail doing something wrong. Fill out an application, get something wrong, and have them say, hey, you need to fix this. Okay, great. Now I'll know for next time. You don't have to be perfect on this thing. Those people who just think about doing stuff and they get ready to get ready and they're considering getting ready, but they're going to line up some few things. You know, I know of agents who have been doing this for 2 years. They're literally thinking about getting ready and they're almost ready to pull the trigger. And yet we've been through almost 2 AEP seasons and they've not spoken with one senior about doing something for them. Those people are what I call negative perfectionists. They're going to have a negative outcome on what they're going to get in their bank account because they want to be perfectionists. They want everything perfect before they implement one thing. And I would just tell you, I'd rather you submit 10 applications that have to have something fixed by getting a senior that you can get on the screen or find somebody who wants to save money because there are literally millions of them out there right now. Find somebody to help. And I had an agent tell me yesterday the most funny story. He said, I've been with you for 4 months and this is not working for me. I'm going to an organization that's going to give me free leads. And we've talked about this before. So you're selling your soul to an agency who's going to keep all your renewals so that you can feel comfortable and warm and fuzzy in front of the fireplace knowing that you didn't have to do any prospecting on your own. Look, I get it. Call reluctance is a real animal. But when you start making the calls and you realize what you're doing and you can put your head at the pillow at night going, I saved somebody $700 a year like we did yesterday. I saved somebody $1,000 a year like we did last week. You can see those things start to snowball and you start getting out of your comfort zone and then it starts to be comfortable. Hey, let me call somebody else and see if I can help them. Some will, some won't. So what? Stop whining. Go to the next person. Listen, your problem is not finding prospects. Your problem is getting on the phone and get out there and expose as many seniors as you can. Right now is the harvest season. Expose people to the savings that you have for them, and guess what happens in the end? Like Zig Ziglar said, the more people that you help, the more money that you make. But by selling your business and your long-term renewals to an agency who says, let me give you free leads because we're finding seniors all day long that are interested in saving money in their Medicare supplement. Well, whoop-de-freaking-do, we can find them all day long too. The key is not so much finding a senior that's interested in saving money. The key is getting off your butt and making something happen with those people. I'm just letting you know that the agents that are consistently writing the most amount of business are not Medicare experts. They don't have to be. They don't even have to be certified with CMS or having taken the AHIP or the certification with the Part D drug plans. Who gives a rip? Look, if you're looking for something else that you can do to study and spend time getting ready and spend all your time getting educated and pay for certifications and degrees and pieces of paper that will hang on your wall, go for it. But do it in your downtime. Get all the letters after your name that you want to, but don't spend your productive time where you can be otherwise. Guess what the other situation is? You could be making money. It's the people with the big fat checks that are not necessarily the most educated, but they get out there and they implement. It does no good at all to be the most educated agent in the marketplace that doesn't do a damn thing for your business and never helps anybody. So fail forward. Do something wrong, but for goodness sakes, let seniors know that there's a difference in the price, but no difference in the plan. Your exact same plan costs less, and your agent should have told you about it. And the fact that they didn't is morally dishonest. It's an ethical challenge to me to hear of an agent who left you on a plan for 5 years, didn't do a thing for you to keep telling you, hey, there's a new carrier, better rates, Cigna's in the market, New Era's in the market, all these companies are making positive changes now. Oh, I'm just going to leave you on that old plan. And guess what that laziness cost the agent? The truth is, if that person had a 16% rate increase with Mutual of Omaha, let's say this person in Arizona had a 16% rate increase on Plan F. Do you think that agent's being paid on that rate increase? They're not. If you're lazy and you just let that person stay on that plan thinking, oh, I'm going to get a 16% raise by leaving that person on that plan, you are sorely mistaken. Read your contract. All these rate increases that they do are solely for the bottom line of the insurance company. They don't do you one dang bit of good because you don't participate in the rate increases. Only the company does. Shocker. Yes, they can have all these rate increases, and if you're sitting there with your feet up on your desk thinking, I'm getting 16% for not doing a thing, you're wrong. With every company in the marketplace, these rate increases are absorbed as pure profit from the insurance company, not for you. So if you're just sitting on your butt every year at the renewal time going, I'm just going to let that thing ride for the full 6 years and just leave them right where they are at. Some agent's going to come behind you, save them 30%. His name may be Westfall, checking up on those people at least every year at renewal time and saying, we can do better than that. But when you come across these agents, and you will by the thousands, that have signed people up when they turn 65 only to forget about them, never reach out to them, never follow up with them, and you're finding them at my golden ages of 70, 72 years old, and you find out they're in perfect health, taking no drugs whatsoever, and they'll qualify for any plan in the marketplace, suddenly you write them on a plan that was probably 20% higher premium than the original agent that sold them. This plan right here, yeah, there's a 20% raise for you, not the original agent. That agent that never did follow up with that person, never did call them again and ask for referrals, which is a perfect opportunity at renewal time, just lost out big time because you went out there and you picked the fruit that's right there, ripe for you to call right now. Don't continue to learn. Start to implement. It's the biggest advice I can tell you because I'm seeing the numbers on the board. I'm seeing agents that are asking a million questions and not doing a thing. Then I'm seeing agents who wrote an application and something was wrong on it. David C. just said, I messed up my first submitted app, but I learned for the next time. Hey, that's what we all do. But you can't fail if you have no one to talk to, right, David? So when you get somebody on the phone that you can actually help, don't be surprised that they're willing to work with you if you can solve their problem, because they are by the millions waiting for you to help them. Now, one last thing I want to go over real quick, and I should have covered this on the news part, is I just want to give you an update on the expectations and the time frame as of this week. We're mid-October right now. We've just started the annual election period. Cigna's getting a little bit slower than even last week on getting these phone things done, these phone interviews done. So you need to monitor that business, and the website is not always updated. If you go to agentview.cigna.com, not always updated. So if you're seeing that they're waiting for the phone interview, you need to call in after a couple of days and say, did you get the phone interview done? Because in 2 of my cases, they said, oh, no, it's been 4 days. Let me get over there and get them to do that now. Well, thank you very much. You need to stay on top of Cigna right now. I'm just telling you. On New Era, I spoke with Janie Goss, their vice president of the senior division this week, about the slow turnaround times with New Era. They had been getting backed up more and more and more, which we typically don't see until later in the year. She informed me that one of their underwriters was on vacation. One of them had called in sick, so they were down to just 2 underwriters for the entire senior division on Medicare supplements. Then she said it was going to be solved by Thursday. That was yesterday. It was. Yesterday we saw all of our pending applications approved. And Ron told me that he had one of his cases that was submitted yesterday, phone interview done yesterday, and approved yesterday. So New Era, Philadelphia American, back up to full speed, which is very, very good. Go back to the questions part. Joe said, would you steer clients away from AARP Part D drug plan, even though it was only slightly better PDP? In Pennsylvania, AARP plans have been the best, though slightly. The reason I ask, I do not trust AARP in their marketing to my clients. Oh boy, you're so right about that, Joe. Once you join AARP for any of their insurance product, they're going to try to cross-sell absolutely everything to them. They see it as a fish on the line. And you're absolutely right about that. Matter of fact, Mutual's doing the same thing too. When you get them on a MedSup, I had a client the other day, husband and wife, and I was able to move the husband off of Mutual of Omaha. He'd been with me for years. I moved him over to Equitable. Very, very happy with that. The wife, though, has Alzheimer's. I could not move her. So they sent her the letter, which we expected, and I put that out on my video the other day. You've got to anticipate that when you're doing husband and wife, the spouse plans together. They took away the spouse discount because he's no longer with her on the mutual plan. So her rate went up. We anticipated that. But then they sent her a letter that very same day that said, we see that you don't have cancer protection. So the husband called me all freaking out saying, they took away coverage for cancer on my wife because I left the plan? No, they didn't. They're just using the fact that you're a customer with Mutual to go around me, your agent, and try to write cancer coverage on her. Just using it as a, this is a purchaser. It's a good list. Let's reach out to them because she's an existing customer. So yes, you're right. AARP will blitz all your people and try to get them away from you. AARP made it clear at the National Medicare Summit last week, 2 weeks ago, they don't like the independent agent. AARP has now put out the edict to all their people, and remember, every year you've got to go through their brainwashing, their training on even the Medicare supplements that says AARP is the best organization in the entire world. And they are now telling their agents that they can no longer cold call for Medicare supplements. That's right. You can't cold call for AARP Medicare supplements. They will terminate you and can take your renewals if you do. That's ridiculous. But they will fill up every mailbox of every senior in the entire country on Medicare supplements all day long, especially those that you just hand to them for being a buyer on their Part D drug plan. So to answer your question, Joe, yes, I would probably steer them and tell them that based on those kind of marketing tactics, if they want to be deluged with junk mail on all their other insurance plans, they can go with AARP, but my best choice would probably be going somewhere else. Give them the choice, give them both phone numbers. They can make their own decision. We replace so much AARP business on the Medicare side. It gives me great pleasure and great joy to do that replacement for them. And more seniors are finding displeasure, finding that now with their antics of what they're trying to do to the seniors in the government with their legislative agenda. So true. Well, there's no more questions. That's the end to our webinar today. We've covered the Medicare Part D drug plan. We covered iJot, and if you missed that link for iJot, it's coming back on the screen right now. It's MedicareAgentTraining.com/go. That can be in capital or lowercase. Doesn't matter with the internet nowadays. And then put iJot in there. Sign up for iJot and try it out. Send me a video email. I'd love to have it. Send it to support@MedicareAgentTraining.com. I'd love to have it. But use this video email tool that's free to reach out to your clients in a way that will be personable. Let them know that you're a real person, that you really care about them and seniors, and they will pick that up from not only your voice, but by your body language now. It's a wonderful free tool that I really encourage you to use. And then we talked about Medicare.gov and how to go through the Find Health and Drug Plans tab there, put in the zip code, their favorite pharmacy, and find their drugs for them. If you don't find their exact dosage on drugs, that's okay. Just be close, and it'll be close enough for them, and it'll automatically sort for you based on best companies down to lowest companies based on the total out-of-pocket that they expect to have. And if you're not certified or contracted to sell those plans, that's okay. Just click on the plan name and give them the non-member phone number, and they can sign up for that. And then lastly, don't be the people that never implement, because you will not make any money in this or any other business. This is a very simple business of finding what people have, offering a solution of something that's much better based on price, because the plans themselves are absolutely identical, and implement your strategy. Spend all your time studying the market, studying the health plans, and doing self-improvement development after hours. Your time during the business day, if you want to make money, I'm just telling you, should be on talking to people, not shuffling papers, doing certifications, doing continuing education, doing all that kind of stuff, that can be done after hours. If you want to be an employee and go get a job somewhere and work 8 hours a day, that's fine. You can study all day at work. If you're working for yourself, then you should be the hardest boss on yourself you could possibly be. And when you're at work, you should be talking to people because nothing else makes you money. That's about it. If I can help you in any way, please send an email to me at support@medicareagenttraining.com. That creates a unique support ticket that I can then follow up with and keep track so it doesn't get lost. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day. We're doing wonderful during this AEP. Things are going great. And if I can help you, don't be silent. Be the squeaky wheel and let me know how I can help you. Y'all have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.